Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I'm the creator of Dallas Fish Daddy. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you all about this device right here. It's called the TDS meter. But before I do, I want to tell you a little bit about me, my experience, and how I got into this hobby. So, what you see here is a Marineland 56-gallon aquarium. It has tetras, shrimp, gouramis, and some Hillstream loaches. I have two Kessel A160 lights, CO2 system, auto top off, auto dosing pumps. So a lot of high tech kind of gadgets in this aquarium. But my uncle is responsible for me getting into this about 7 years ago. He is the owner of this store called the Corner Reef, which is in St. Louis, Missouri. And he started growing corals in his basement. And things kind of got out of control. And he's like, I think I can open my own store. And he's been really successful at that. And I remember going into one of his store and saying, "Hey, I really want to get in this hobby. What can you tell me?" And I said, "I'm looking to get into jellyfish." And he goes, "Well, let's pump the brakes there a little bit. Let's go with something a little hardier, a little easier to start with for a beginner." And so here I am, 7 years of plant and fish experience, as well as 2 years mixed in with ponds and water gardens, so I can answer questions there. So my mission with this podcast, episodes, talks on YouTube is to be a sounding board for people local that need help. There's going to be better looking fish tanks out there on the internet. There's going to be maybe better looking fish. But my goal is to help people learn something new, and from my experience and knowledge that I've gained from other YouTubers to kind of reiterate their teachings and just share with you my experience. Additionally, my audience, I'm trying to also attract those who are these working professionals who work a lot of hours, whether it may be a mom or dad, and they've got just a lot of life responsibilities with kids, grandparents, what have you, but they still want to do this hobby. I want to be that positive reinforcement so they can continue to do this and not feel it's overwhelming. So I'm trying to also show you that it's lower maintenance than it appears, and that it's very rewarding, very fun, and very relaxing. And so enough about the fish tank and enough about me. We're going to get into this TDS reader. So TDS readers, they have their pros and cons. And one of the pros is that they're really inexpensive. This is like $10 or $12 on Amazon, and it even comes with this nice leather pouch, which is kind of cool. The important thing to recognize with a TDS meter, it stands for total dissolved solids, is that it's not giving you a breakdown of what the number is. So let's say it shows you 300 here when you put this in the tank. You don't know if that's nitrates, calcium, magnesium, potassium, phosphates. You don't know if it's 25, 50, 75. You don't get that nice breakdown. All you're getting is a total dissolved solids, which includes CO2, which includes various other things, fish waste. And so I don't find it to be all that helpful. And that's what I'm going to be kind of preaching today in this video, is I don't believe that these need to be used for testing the water parameters in your tank. Water parameters in your tank should be tested with test strips that are individualized for pH, KH, GH, for example, nitrates, or you can do the liquid test kits. Make sure you read the instructions on the liquid test kits, because it's very easy to make a mistake or not do it correctly. Where I think that these shine is when you do RO, so reverse osmosis water, or RODI, reverse osmosis deionized water. So RO water is a filtration system that takes tap water and takes everything out of it, roughly 99.9% out of it. And so you're left with very pure water. And when I say pure, it's usually 10 ppm or less. For RODI, the DI is a specialized resin that takes it from the 10 down to 0. So for the saltwater enthusiasts and the reefers out there, they're trying to get to a 0 TDS straight out of that RODI unit. So then when they mix that salt in there and all their other minerals, they have that water exactly dialed into the specifications that they want before they put it in the tank. It's much like what I'm going to be preaching about the freshwater side. This comes in handy when I'm making RO water. I have a video on that, how easy it is and how inexpensive it is. When you have the RO water in your container, you want this to show 10 or less on that water that's coming out. If it is, you know it's very pure and it's not suitable for fish yet, but it's very pure and it's a good starting place to go. So before you put that RO water in your tank, you want to do one more thing, is you got to add minerals back to it. Even the saltwater fish like your discus and some of your crystal shrimp, they have to have some minerals in the water to survive. And so what you can do is remineralize with, there's a few off the top of my head. There's remineralized P from Brightwell Aquatics. And the one that I'm using and experimenting with, and there'll be a video coming up, is RO Recharge by Fritz Aquatics. And that's supposed to be like an all-in-one like scoop kind of thing where it's got all the necessary KHGH, potassium, calcium in the perfect measurements. And so I'm still experimenting with that just to ensure the accuracy. Another one that's very popular is Seachem Equilibrium. That one I believe does GH, but then you also want to add some KH buffer too. So it's not safe to just take that RO water and straight into here. But this is basically a measuring tool to ensure that your RO unit or RODI unit is functioning at a high level. Because I believe, from my experience, you get lost when using this to be your guide. You need to use test strips or individual tests for water. If you're really curious, about what's in your tank water, there are some kits you can buy at local fish stores. I know they have one here at the Dallas North Aquarium in Carrollton where you give them a water sample and they're going to ship it off to like somewhere in Germany or something like that. And they give you like a 30 or 40 line item sheet of this is how much copper, this is how much maybe iodine, nitrates, phosphate. It gives you this huge list. So you have an idea of really what's in your tap water, or you can use it with the aquarium water. But to wrap up here, this device really needs to be only used for the RO systems because it's not pinpoint accurate on what's going on in your aquarium. And one of the things, I'm a nurse, is my career. I also have a master's in healthcare administration. So my day work is nursing and leadership, and my night work is husband, father, and fish keeper. So I'm grateful to have this hobby to fall back on and relax when the days are kind of wild. But leave a like, leave a comment, leave a dislike. I want to hear from you all about your experience with TDS and its importance, or if you agree with me that it's not all that important in the freshwater hobby. Again, this is Alex with Dallas Fish Daddy signing off. Thank you.